Have you ever carried something heavy? Not in your hands, but in your heart. Or in Swahili we ask, ulishawahi kubeba mzigo mzito, sio wa mawe, bali wa hisia?
Yeah. Like when someone says something that cuts deep, a word you can't unhear?
Exactly. Maybe it was a friend who betrayed your trust, or a loved one who left without even saying goodbye.
Sometimes it's not even what happened. It's what never did. The apology that never came, the closure you never got.
And so you keep replaying that moment over and over, hoping it will hurt less the next time.
But somehow, it still feels the same. Still sharp, still fresh.
And then you tell yourself, I'm fine. You smile, you move on, you keep busy.
But deep down, something whispers, I'm still not free. Bado sijawa huru.
Sometimes the hardest thing to let go of isn't the pain itself, it's the person who caused it.
Because part of you still remembers how it felt before they hurt you. And you wish, even for just a moment, you could go back to that peace.
That innocence, that place before the wound. So in today's episode of Swahili Spark, I want us to take a moment, pole pole, to reflect on the things that make us human.
Not the easy kind of reflection, but the kind that frees your soul, even when the apology never comes.
Msamaha, forgiveness. It's one of the hardest, yet most powerful choices we can ever make.
Forgiveness is the choice to let go of anger, resentment, and pain towards someone who has hurt you, whether they ever asked for forgiveness or not.
Au kwa Kiswahili tunasema, msamaha ni uamuzi wa kuachilia hasira, chuki na maumivu yaliyosababishwa na mtu mwingine, hata kama hakuwahi kukuomba msamaha.
Forgiveness is not weakness. It's strength in its softest, quietest form.
Ni nguvu tulivu, nguvu ya kusema, sasa sina sababu ya kubeba uchungu huu tena.
It's the gentle power of saying, you no longer have power over my peace.
When you forgive, you don't change the past, but you change your heart's future.
Unaposamehe, hubadilishi yaliyopita, lakini unaponya roho yako kwa siku zijazo.
Let me give you this story that really touched my soul. There was once a woman named Zawadi, not her real name though, from the quiet coast of Malindi. She was kind, the kind of woman who believed that family meant forever. When her husband passed away, she found comfort in her in-laws. They promised to stand by her, to help her raise her 2 children. But as time goes by, things changed. They began to whisper behind her back. They took the land her husband left behind, saying, "It's not really yours." They turned her children against her with lies that she bewitched her husband, with blame, with silence. She was so hurt by what was happening because it's something she never expected to happen. Zawadi would sit outside her small house at sunset, watching the light fade over the ocean, asking herself, why would the people I loved most be the ones to hurt me the deepest? The pain was heavy. Rejection from strangers is one thing, but when it's from blood, from family, it pierces the soul. For years, she carried that pain like a stone on her heart and vengeful spirit. Until one morning, she woke up and said, I'm tired of being angry. Not because they apologized, not because they changed, but because she wanted peace more than she wanted revenge. She began to pray for them, not for their forgiveness, but for her own healing. Each day, the bitterness faded little by little, pole pole, and in its place came peace. And then she forgave all of them, aliwasamehe wote. Her neighbors noticed it, the calm in her voice, the light returning to her eyes. She would smile again, not because life was perfect, but because she had finally understood. That forgiveness, au msamaha, doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing yourself over the pain. It means saying, you no longer control how I feel. And that's how Zawadi found freedom. Not through justice, but through msamaha. Because when she forgave, she didn't free them. She freed herself.
Wow, what a touching story. And that's when the healing began. Not because they said sorry, but because she finally forgave. Not for them, but for herself.
You see, carrying anger, hasira, is like holding fire. It burns you first. But when you forgive, ukisamehe, you release the fire, and suddenly there's room for peace again.
In Swahili we say, Msamaha huleta amani. Forgiveness brings peace.
And peace doesn't come loudly. It comes softly, like rain after a long, dry season. And that is one of the hardest experiences in life. To release the pain and anger after betrayal, rejection, or deep disappointment. But once you finally let go, once you choose to forgive, it feels like being born again, like your heart can finally breathe.
Because forgiveness isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of peace.
I love that. Maybe there's someone you need to forgive today. Or maybe it's yourself.
Whichever it is, take a breath. You don't have to rush it. Forgiveness takes time. Pole, pole.
But when it comes, it changes everything. The weight lifts, the heart softens, and suddenly you feel free again.
Because forgiveness doesn't say, it's okay. It says, I choose peace instead of pain.
Ninachagua amani badala ya maumivu. And that is where healing begins. As you go on with your day, remember, msamaha ni nguvu. Forgiveness is strength. And every time you choose to forgive, you're healing, one breath at a time.
That is very true. If this message touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. You never know. Your act of kindness might be the reason someone finds peace again.
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Swahili Spark, where every word carries nguvu, the power to heal, to grow, and to remind us that even in silence, there is light.
Until next time, pole pole, and keep shining.